Been dazed and confused for so long it's not true. Wanted a woman, never bargained for you. Lots of people talking, few of them know. Soul of a woman was created below. This is the Community Solutions Podcast. Jason Bradley, Andrew Richter from deep in the bowels of our underground lair with more surprises than the identity and political leanings of the J6 bomber.
Huh. Yeah, what's the deal with that?
That was like zero surprises, huh?
Of course not.
Wow. The
only surprise is how long it took to get the truth. What, 5 years almost?
Oh, I know. Well, like they planted the guy. Like they're going to go figure
That's
out.
True.
You know? So you got 4 years where they're not going to pursue it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, and, previously, yeah, they're not going to do that. Yeah, I wonder how, if history will ever record January 6th correctly. Not among the mainstream media, but I think there's more and more people coming around to what, that really, really was all about.
I think so. I mean, the reporting is out there. People are trying to tell the story. Guys like Steve Baker at The Blaze. There's some others, and now you've got Dan Bongino, who's all over this too.
Yeah. Well, and also the mainstream media now is hands off on it. You never hear January 6th.
Oh, no.
They don't say a word about it anymore.
Right. And they're not even covering, it wasn't that. It was the Minnesota Somali fraud thing. I saw a graphic where they have nobody has given a second of airtime to this outside of Fox.
Right. And there was the whole thing that Jonathan Turley did about how massive this is and how he goes, the only thing missing in the story is a Republican.
Yeah.
Can't find one anywhere. So the lack of mainstream. By the way, I do know the song.
I hope so.
I do know the song.
Yeah.
Okay, it's those Page Plant guys.
Yes.
See?
With John Paul Jones and John Bonham.
Yeah. Now, don't tell me. Bonham was the guy who passed away. He was the drummer?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know that when I saw Page Plant in concert, are they still around? Jimmy and Plant still
individually,
around? I mean, they're still alive?
Oh, yeah.
Because when I saw them, they refused to call themselves Led Zeppelin.
Right.
They won't say we're we're Page Plant.
Right. Well, it was half of the band.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
John Paul Jones did bring a lot to Led Zeppelin, even though he didn't get the credit, really for that. It was
it's like the Beatles. Everybody thinks of Lennon and McCartney, but
George Harrison did quite a bit.
True, he couldn't have done it without the two guys, though. I mean,
I think they could have done it without Ringo.
Well, you could have done it with a different guy, but the guy's name was Ringo.
That's true. I mean, he brought personality.
He was Ringo.
He's not as bad a drummer as people try to say either.
Yeah, but their kind of music was it's anyway. Look, here's the thing.
He wrote Yellow Submarine.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that's what he was born in, wasn't it? He's still around.
Yeah.
So he and Paul.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Paul was
George
just
Harrison
here.
died,
I didn't even know, and
was he?
I would love to see him, and I suppose it's like $800 for a ticket, but
yeah, probably. Where'd he play?
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Well, I remember in the days going to. I liked the Roy Wilkins Auditorium, and I remember going there a lot. Not a lot, but in my 20s, I remember the best people I think I saw was the Brian Setzer Orchestra. I never had more fun than I didn't. I knew their like main songs, but I didn't really know a lot about that genre that they're in. They were terrific, and that was I bet
they would be.
That's a much more intimate setting.
Yes,
to go there. So I think it's better for a good show if you can go there. But
that is a
still
good
around.
Place.
I don't even know if it's still around.
Yeah, Roy Wilkins is still around.
Okay. Who's Roy Wilkins anyway? Dominique's brother?
I have no idea. Dominique
anyway.
Wilkins, really?
I don't know.
Oh, boy.
Hey, look, I saw Page and Plant in concert.
Yeah.
And what's the who else did I see? The 9-inch guys.
9 Inch Nails.
Yeah, with the Jim Rose Circus.
Oh boy.
And Pantera and White Zombie. I actually I got elbowed in the head in the mosh pit. I saw somebody get carried out on a stretcher. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
Too.
Well,
we nearly got in a big brawl down there too. I was a little bit hot-headed then. But anyhow, I kind of miss concerts, but they're just so unaffordable.
They are,
and they're just they're such rip-offs. And
I know.
I don't like stadium shows as much. I mean, I like. The Target Center was okay for.
Sound wasn't as good as Excel though.
Yeah, okay. Well,
that was my favorite place to see it.
Is it okay?
A big show like that.
Yeah, I mean, and in the '90s, like I remember the 9 Inch guys, Garth Brooks. I saw Page Plant. There were a couple others. Maybe not as well known, but. It seemed like there were concerts all the time. It was kind of the thing to do, like going to the movies. But it's just kind of, maybe it's just, I think it's become so much money that, you just. You
can't go for like under $85 a ticket. And that's,
and that's sitting with Euchre.
Yeah.
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 If you want a decent seat, you're paying $300, $400, $500 to see anybody. I mean, anyone. So, why is it like that? Why is it so crazy?
I was going to say I got into the wrong business, but that's the business I got into, and I can't charge that.
Yeah, but you're not in the ticket scamming business.
Well, that's true.
I mean, I don't know that the artists are the ones controlling. They might have some say in it, but
it depends. I bet they have some say. Because,
I would have some say in
because their stage shows are so elaborate. Yeah. You look at a band that toured in the '80s and what they did. I don't know if did you ever go to the And Justice for All tour at all? Okay. No. They had like a couple of like fake statues on the side or whatever. Maybe some effects, some lighting or whatever. But now you've got to have the jumbotrons. You've got to have
because you're in a stadium where nobody can see you.
All the pyrotechnics. You got to have, and it's worse. It gets worse as you get into pop music because you got to hire all the dancers.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's about show. It's not about the artistry.
I don't mind. I like a mix of the two. I like great talent, but I also like a good show.
I do like a good show, yeah.
I think it can get a little ridiculous, but I don't like all the dancers. I don't like all that crap. I don't even know how many people actually are singing out there.
None. That's the answer.
Yeah.
0.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe today, that's true.
Yeah.
30 years ago, that wasn't true.
Right.
So it's kind of, I don't know. They've lost their luster with me. I don't know anybody I'd want to see is 65 and older, so it's kind of like
getting close, I suppose.
Yeah. You're at least my age or older.
Right.
I'll be 49 next month. So, I mean,
I
can't think of anybody under 49 I want to see. I just really don't.
Yeah.
Anyhow, Led Zeppelin. I got it right.
Yes. Right. Yep, Dazed and Confused, Led Zeppelin.
Now, speaking of Dazed and Confused.
Exactly, that's why I picked the song.
I'm joking. We got to touch on this since we haven't seen each other for a while. By the way, happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Which I know it's been like 3 or 4 weeks now.
Yeah.
Your birthday's November 5th, right?
Yes.
Okay, now do you know that you share, I might have mentioned this years ago, that you share a birthday with President Harding.
Yeah.
November 5th. Did I ever tell you this?
I don't remember.
Okay. Harding was elected in 1920, President of the United States, and it was November 5th. It was his 55th birthday. He got elected on his 55th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah. Totally worthless fact. If you're ever watching Jeopardy, you will know the answer to that question, or the question to that answer.
Yeah.
I guess is what you'd have to say.
Who
is Warren Harding?
If I ever run for president, I think I'll do it on a year where I know it's my birthday on election day, and I'll use that to my advantage. That'll be my election ads. My whole platform will be, hey, it's my birthday, vote for me.
That sounds great. That's a great idea. It's better than a lot of campaign stuff I've ever heard of.
Right.
Just don't show up in your birthday suit.
Well, no worries there.
So, what are you, 52?
Two.
Oh, God, gee.
Yeah.
You're getting up there. Holy smoke.
Yeah.
So you're born in the Nixon days.
Yeah, I was.
Interesting.
Not by much, but...
To go. So technically, I lived for 10 days under old Jerry.
Yeah.
Speaking of old Jerry, his chief of staff, guy who fought tooth and nail the church committee, by the way.
Yes.
Wonder if people know that about Dick Cheney. His secrecy goes back to the 70s. But Richard Dick Cheney passing away. I didn't even know he was an ailing.
Yeah.
But he was 84. I guess he was, I didn't realize he was.
Yeah, that's still pretty young these days. But
I guess so. But what's President Trump, 78?
Yeah.
I guess so. And George W. is now 79. I saw him at
Really?
yeah.
Huh.
He and Trump, George W. was born in 46. So, yeah, first of the baby boomers. I think Trump was the year after. But anyway, so Dick Cheney passing away, the age, of course, he had heart trouble when he was younger too, and so legacy of Dick Cheney. Boy, should we?
It's complicated.
It's you know what I was gonna say that too, but you know what? It's Iraq. It's the secrecy state.
That's what people remember.
The national security BS.
Patriot Act.
That's maybe the most powerful vice president we've had that I can think of. I mean, anyway, I can't.
Yeah,
trying to think.
He served as president on 2 different occasions.
Yeah, President Bush's colonoscopies, right?
Well, he was for 9/11 as well.
Yeah,
for a short time
when Bush was in the air or something, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, he did have a very long career. Defense secretary under George H.W. I always thought he was a curious choice for vice president.
Yeah.
It kind of. I don't know if George W. thought, Wyoming was in jeopardy or something and he had to pick Cheney, but it was always a weird choice to have him be the vice president. But I still think Iraq, national security state, this, I call it our fourth branch of government, this endless administrative stuff. I think that that's all anyone's going to remember about Dick Cheney 30 years from now.
Yeah, that's probably true. Which for him is unfortunate.
True. Can I ask you a question, though? Is there a vice president you can think of that is more that their own party has distanced themselves from more? I mean, it's
that way. No,
it's like the Democrats hated him.
Yeah,
the Republicans have done nothing but distance themselves from that Bush-Cheney era since then.
Right.
I mean, I can't think of another example. I mean, President Bush gave the eulogy to Dick Cheney, and it didn't. The networks didn't even break into it.
No,
Trump, Vance, nobody released a statement about it. It's like I don't. I've never seen him. Mike Pence might get there eventually, for different reasons.
Right.
But
right.
But Cheney, I don't know if I've seen a person fall off a cliff, and I would throw Liz in there too. I just can't think of an equivalent to it. Where like a president and a vice president have been just so, people distance themselves from Jimmy Carter as a politician, but not as a person.
Yeah.
Carter was still showed up to presidential things. He showed up to Democratic Party stuff. I mean, he was active in Georgia well into the 2000s. Yeah. Even though everybody distanced themselves from the time he was president.
Right.
They didn't renounce him. Cheney spent the last 15 years in a bunker.
Right.
I mean, where have you seen him? Yeah. I remember, I don't even know if he was there when Liz got sworn in. I don't remember seeing him there. Not at any of the inaugurations. He's never around. And I just don't know if he's off. He was off in a tomb somewhere or what. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that he skipped out on Trump's inauguration.
Well, no, that wouldn't.
But I mean, there's no reason he wouldn't have shown up to Joe Biden's, or I don't know. But yeah, the quote unquote enhanced interrogation, or the torture of people. I mean, that's part of his legacy.
The out and out breaking of U.S. law. Sure.
Yeah.
Breaking every single law we have.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
Earlier in his career, he was a lot more conservative, I think.
I think that's true, too. I think he became a globalist over time.
Yeah.
And I don't know when, you know what I've found, too? Anybody who claims credentials and national security is somebody we shouldn't listen to.
Probably true.
It's just kind of the second I hear national security expert, I just go, ugh. Yeah.
Oh, I know. I mean, how do you feel about what's going on today? I mean, like with Pete Hegseth and the bombing of the boats. And
well, I have mixed feelings on it.
Yeah.
I think that we have a real problem with that kind of stuff coming in our country, the drugs, the gangs. I think one of two ways you could look at it as a offensive defensive move.
Yeah.
One that could backfire though pretty badly. You could also look at it as maybe it's a deterrent. Yeah. Possibly. I always say if there's money to be made, somebody will do it. But I think it's legally a little murky.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like the war on terror. There's this gray area where you aren't going, you're not fighting a country or an army, quote unquote. So the rules sort of don't apply. Right. And it's sort of like, well, yeah, I don't like giving government that kind of blank check to do what they want. At the same time, we're being infested with this stuff. Right. And it's been going on unchallenged for a long, long time. It really has.
Yeah.
And President Trump's done so much for our border, and that it's amazing the job he's done. And I feel not getting credit for it. I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting credit for it among a lot of the people who voted for him. But quite frankly, we've had a 3.8% wage jump in the last year. And I'm going to tell you, the blocking of immigrants is a big part of that.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in a minute, but because I have some theories on what's going on. But I think that the drugs, the fentanyl, the gangs, the human trafficking, I think there's this underclass of it that most people just are not aware of. And I have mixed feelings on whether this is the ultimate right course of action. But I got to tell you, I'm kind of on the fence of I'm okay with it to a point. Mm-hmm. And this is not, this is the kind of thing I hope to avoid. But you have other countries that are aiding and abetting this stuff. So I feel like the United States is kind of alone in this.
Right.
And look, here's the thing. If we had information that terrorists had bombs and they were on a boat heading to Florida, we'd blow it up. We wouldn't think about it. We wouldn't talk about it. We would just do it.
Yeah.
And if we have things like this that are messing people's lives, destroying, I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Where does the line go there?
I don't know, because I'm with you in that, it's a little murky. You got to be really sure before you take somebody's life.
See, this is the thing. They're waiting for. I think what they're waiting for. At some point, you're going to make a mistake.
Yeah,
that's what's going to happen. These terrorists are like Hamas. They know how to use civilians. They know our media is so stupid. Yeah. They know that one child is killed or injured or maimed for life, and that's going to be front page news for how long? So, yeah, I mean, it is. And I always think, okay, are we rising tensions with another country here?
Yeah.
See, I think Trump is thinking. My guess for Trump is he's testing how far he can go. He doesn't want a war.
No.
And I think he's rightly calculating that the other side doesn't want one either. Mm-hmm. But at some point, you can go this far and then this far and then this far.
Right. Well, and I don't think he needs a war with Venezuela. No, it sounds like Hugo Chavez is almost out. It sounds like they're working out a deal for him to get to like Kuwait or something like that and to live out the rest of his days. It sounds Colombia, I'm not sure where they're at. Mexico is still pushing back, and I don't understand it. Well, I do, I guess. A lot of the Mexican government is taking in drug money from the cartels, and they're getting paid off. And not that they even need that, because the politicians who stand against the cartels in Mexico are threatened or killed or kidnapped. And so it's really hard for us to be able to make any headway in Mexico. And I know Trump would like to just go set all of the cartels' compounds ablaze, but Scheinbaum won't let him do it. And so it's like, what do? You can't violate their national sovereignty, but yet at the same time, they're violating ours by importing the drugs into the country.
Exactly. I know. It's a nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
But you're right. Their governments are in bed with the cartels or afraid of them or whatever you want to say. And we're...
Sorry, I said Hugo Chavez. I meant Maduro.
Oh, I know who you mean. Yeah.
I just want to correct that.
Okay.
Maduro. Yeah.
He's going to try to hang on, though. I mean,
he might.
I think you got another Milosevic.
They're working out a deal.
Yeah, we'll I think so. I think they're going to work out a deal where he goes to a country club or something. But, it is. But I go back to like the war on terror, where if you can't define an enemy and you can't define a victory and you can't define, well, that's a justification for anything.
Yeah.
And then I got a problem with that. I mean, I just do it. I'm not directing this at Trump or Hegseth, but I'm just saying, okay, if there's no rules, then, well, there's no limit on what you can do. I'm sorry, but that's just the truth. And so I don't know. I'm nervous about it, even though I understand it. It still makes me nervous.
Right.
I just wonder if Trump has given like a heads up. What you're not seeing these other countries really, they're kind of rumbling, but they're not really doing anything. Mm-hmm. I think they had foreknowledge that or Trump might have called them and said, look, you either stop this or we're gonna. Mm-hmm. So if you do this, I'm telling you what's going to happen. I think that's probably what's gone on behind the scenes, if I had to guess. So I don't know. It's ugly, though.
Of course, that doesn't stop the Democrat Party or
media, I don't understand that either. I don't understand why the Democrats don't care about human trafficking, why they don't care about we got more people dying of drugs than gun violence or all the stuff they whine about combined.
Because they're a death cult. That's why.
They are. Yeah, they don't care. I mean, it's true. They just...
you look at abortion, you look at euthanasia, you look at...
It's like Jack Kevorkian's in charge of the party.
Yeah.
At least Kevorkian was honest about it. I mean, now it's like, speaking of Kevorkian, I saw something on YouTube. I got to tell you, this is a while back, though. When you encounter, and he's since passed away, when you encounter a man who is enthusiastic about death and likes to be involved in death, let me tell you something. It's spooky. Go watch speeches by Kevorkian, and you tell me that how lucky you are this guy wasn't your doctor.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's honest about what he thinks.
Right.
Okay, but holy cow, is it spooky to listen to Kevorkian, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
But look at Canada. I mean, Canada has become a state where, and I don't mean like the 51st state, I mean like a nation state, where euthanasia has become a significant portion of the annual mortalities.
Yeah, and it's also a consequence of government-run health care.
Right.
Because it's okay, well, we can keep this person alive and charge the taxpayers, or we could...
but it's worse than that, Andrew.
Yeah, it is worse.
It's if you're depressed, you can get euthanized. If you...
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
We wouldn't treat a dog that way.
Right.
I wouldn't... if I thought my dog was depressed, I wouldn't euthanize him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just... it's amazing. We wouldn't treat... You wouldn't abort a kitten.
No.
But you'll abort a baby 8 months into...
We can't build a building where the reticulated sea slug might be in the dirt somewhere. Right. But let's slaughter everybody. Reticulated sea slug. I don't know if that's a thing, but...
Unreal.
It is unreal. We protect certain things, but then we have no regard at all for things that really are of infinitely more value.
Yeah, no question. No doubt
we are the
about
most backwards, upside down.
Yeah, well, we have California has like areas where you can't kill a certain piece of wildlife, or you can't build because of blah blah blah, but you can have an abortion at 8 months and 3 weeks.
Right.
It's just sick. It's beyond sick.
Yeah.
So back to Dick Cheney.
Yes.
Real quickly, I just want to put a bow on this. I talked about vice presidents being repudiated. Yeah, I racked my brain all day to try to think of anybody that I can think of that was just you're not invited to speak anywhere. You're just not wanted anymore. And I really couldn't come up with anybody other than Cheney. I'm sort of baffled. President Bush calls him like this great guy and this blah blah blah, and I'm like, man, dude, you are as delusional as you were 20 years ago. And I hate saying that. Yeah. I mean, I voted for them, and I just it's hard now. I see the issues differently today. Maybe that's why I think the MAGA movement woke me up to some other things, but a lot of the problems we have today were created in the Bush-Cheney era.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. I mean, you look at 9/11. Who were the winners? You know who the winners were? The winners were big government.
Yep.
CIA. The same people who screwed up everything.
Yep. The military-industrial complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Halliburton.
Black Rocks and the...
Yeah.
I mean, God, we could have done a worse job. Job. And I'd like to know this, too. How come ABC News could find bin Laden and interview him in 1999 or 1998, but it took us 10 years to find him? Can you explain that to me? Why didn't we just call up ABC and say, hey, what cave did you do? What was the address on that cave that you did that interview on?
Yeah. Yeah.
How's it possible? I'm not going to go Alex Jones here and say bin Laden was a paid CIA asset. Okay, I don't know that I can say that.
Right.
Bin Laden, he was on the payroll of every single one. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but love Alex, but I don't know if that's true. But you gotta think. I mean, why did it take so long to get him?
Yeah.
World's most wanted man, and nobody over there turns him in. Nobody over there has a grudge against him. Nobody over the rival factions that exist in that part of the world everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, where was he sitting the whole time?
Well, apparently
what did the Saudis have to do with
Pakistan.
it? Yeah. What did the Saudis have to do with it?
Well,
I'd like to know.
We know that some of the hijackers were Saudi, and
majority
he was Saudi.
Of them, yeah.
His family was Saudi.
His family was well-to-do. Bin
Yeah.
Laden was no guy who labored in a field or a
No.
He was the Lenin of Saudi Arabia. It's total BS what Bin Laden ever put out there.
Yeah.
All right. Or what did Clinton call him? Bin Laden. I used to get a kick out of Bin Laden.
Bin Laden.
We found out the man behind it, Osama Bin Laden. Yeah. So, we gotta move on here, though.
Yeah.
I want to, before we get into the economic stuff, Jay, I want to touch on something that I don't want to dwell on like the Epstein stuff.
Yeah.
But we've got all of these things going on right now where the conspiracy theories are getting downright, I don't want to say kooky, because I don't call them conspiracy theorists. I call them truth seekers.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'd have said in the 1970s that, we'd sell arms for hostages, or we'd blah, blah, I mean, nobody'd believe me,
Yeah,
and then
right.
So things that quote unquote conspiracy theorists say are often just truths people don't want to hear.
Yeah, often.
And we've got, some people don't want to accept that elements of our government threaten us. But I see some things going on right now that I can't understand. Either I don't understand it, or why don't people who work for the government, let me just ask this question to start. Why don't they understand that there's one disinfectant that works better than anything on the face of the earth?
Yeah.
And it's called the truth.
Yep.
Why doesn't anyone sit down and say, you know what? I don't care if this embarrasses 5,000 dead people. I don't care if we made mistakes in the 80s on this. This has to change. Can't do what we're doing here. Can't do it anymore. Why doesn't that happen?
Your guess is as good as mine. I love our friend John Kennedy from Louisiana.
Oh, Senator Kennedy.
Senator Kennedy.
You are sprinkling doo-doo all over this committee. That was the greatest line.
Yeah.
Sprinkling doo-doo.
I mean, I believe it is he that said we need new conspiracy theories because all the ones we had have proved true. Right?
I think he did say that.
So he kind of asked for this.
Yeah. Okay, but let me throw something out here.
Let me just explain first. Conspiracy in and of itself is not a kooky thing. It's you have to look. There's conspiracy theory, which it's not proved yet. Could be true, could be false. And then you have conspiracy fact, which is true. Point in case with the J6 bomber, we knew that something stunk, and we knew that that it wasn't some Republican activist. It wasn't this whole J6 thing. It was a setup, including this bombing, because of all the weird things that happened. Conspiracy fact: the guy was a leftist.
Yes.
It has now been proven, but it was still a conspiracy. Conspiracy to drag the right into the mud and make them look bad, like they're the violent ones, when in fact, over and over and over and over again, we see it's the left.
Left
who are the
is
violent
always
ones.
the violent ones.
Yes.
They're always violent. Who's bombing Teslas? Who riots in the street? Is that
it goes back to SDA back in the 60s?
Yeah, absolutely. It riots in 68. I mean, 92 in LA. I mean, those are not conservative accountants going out there and rioting. Now, having said that, again, I go back to something like this. There's such a feeling that I have no control over my government.
Yeah.
Why does the government get to decide what the public will know and not know?
Yeah.
Now let me use the Epstein. Again, I don't want to dwell on this because I'm so tired of it. But if Epstein's clients were a bunch of suburban housewives or a bunch of brothers down in South Chicago, that list would be out there and nobody care what happened to them. Mm-hmm. They'd all be doxxed. They'd all be whatever. You have the powerful still being protected.
Yeah.
Whoever they are. Okay. It's not Trump, because if it were Trump, the Biden people would have released it. They had access to this for 4 years. And if you're telling me Trump's all over Epstein, but Merrick Garland sat there and let him be the president again? Yeah. No way. I don't believe that for a second. But here's what I don't understand. What is the justification for this BS of how he died? Does anyone believe that he slit his wrists with a butter knife? I mean, come on. He was in do you know what goes on when you are on suicide watch or in a suicide? Yeah. They don't give you utensils.
Shoelaces.
They don't give you shoelaces. They don't give you a knife. You can't have things in your drawer, your dresser drawer or whatever they have.
You sleep with paper sheets.
It's to commit suicide and they probably have cameras on you.
Yeah. Well, there were camera failures. That was proven.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Failures? Right. Or he just happened to die when the camera took a nap? I mean, the whole idea of committing suicide. Why are there no pictures of Epstein in court? Where's the perp walk?
Yeah.
Where are his... We are entitled to open trials. That's in the public trials is in the Constitution.
Yeah.
Okay? We're told, there's a list somewhere. There's blah, blah, blah. Pam Bondi's got it on her desk. All of a sudden, I guess there isn't anything.
Yeah.
Okay, well then show us. No, we're not going to. But what? Now, look, the guy's dead, so I don't know how they can use ongoing investigate, the BS line, which doesn't apply to the FBI. The Justice Department might be a little different, but the FBI has doesn't matter that they can talk at any time or law enforcement, I should say, can talk about it any time they want to. So we still haven't seen it. Now we passed a bill saying it has to be released, and we still don't have it.
Yeah.
So what is going on? Am I the only guy out here, Jay, that feels like the Secret Service, the FBI, the Justice Department, I'm not seeing the real reform that I thought I would see? Am I the only guy feeling that way?
No, you're not. Not at all. I don't feel that way. It's like, who have they arrested? Who have they put on trial? Who's done 1 day of prison time for any of this stuff? We hear about, look what really happened with J6. Yeah. We hear about, Epstein list is coming out. We hear about, Thomas Crooks, and look at all this stuff.
Get into that in just a second.
We hear about Ryan Routh. Look at how all this went down. Who is serving any time other than, I guess, Ryan Routh, because they caught him, before he killed himself.
Yeah.
But that was, pretty public. You can't really get away with that. But you look at all this other stuff where there's all of this subversion and layers of secrecy, and how is nobody getting prosecuted for anything? at this point.
Well, even so, where is rooting out? I want to know.
Yeah.
Who had, if I can just say this, who is in charge of the Secret Service reform?
Yeah.
Okay, we still have no answer. You brought up Thomas Crooks. We still have no answers on Butler.
Yeah.
When President Trump's campaign said, hey, we need a little more security, and they turned him down.
Yeah.
Who turned him down? Somebody knows.
Somebody does.
Who said yes? Who said no? Who allocated the resources? Who did this or that? I mean, the Charlie Kirk killing. How was that happen? How did somebody come off a building and nobody saw him? I'm just...
Yeah, and let's talk about that for a second, because this is a great example of where conspiracy theory and conspiracy fact are kind of indistinguishable because there is so little information given. You have a guy that people seem to say this is the guy. They have pictures of him in the stairwell or whatever, but he had this rifle that he obviously, how you assemble it, disassemble it, assemble it, disassemble it, whatever you got to do, get down off the roof. You go, why would you reassemble it and then hide it in the woods? And then, there's questions, right? Some people think that the pictures don't look alike. Some people think that they do. Some people, nobody can seem to explain the timeline of events, but yet
nobody can explain it whatsoever.
But yet we're moving forward with a trial with
Tyler James Robinson. I couldn't remember.
Yes,
his name.
yeah. Why would you take time to text all of the details of what you've done to your significant other?
Yeah, we conveniently don't want to talk about the trans stuff either.
Right.
We don't want to add that to it. We got to cover that up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something stinks about it though. There's something, and again, the failure to articulate what's going on. Every time you get asked a question, well, ongoing investigation. Well, that doesn't mean you can't say what you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
This is what fuels the conspiracies, is the lack of information, the lack of transparency. Mm-hmm. Look, I'm not throwing all this on Cash and Bongino. They may be doing a lot behind the scenes.
Yeah.
They could be. They could be running into roadblocks. They could be having stuff pulled out from under them every turn they do. But if that were the truth, I'd make it public every day. If I were Cash Patel, I'd have a press conference every day saying, you know what? Here's what happened. I'm firing this SOB if he does it again. Here's what's going on with blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, I would let the American people know how hard you're trying to make changes.
Yeah.
And Bongino's a great guy.
Yes.
I mean, he's just on top. Man, I can't believe the two of them are involved in conspiracies to not say something. But at the same time, I haven't seen the real change that I was hoping that I would see.
Right.
So, I mean, President Trump's been there almost a year. I mean, it'd be a year in 6 weeks or so from when we're taping this. And to know nothing about his assassin or attempted assassin. Mm-hmm. Same picture we see where he was like 14. You could dox me. The government could dox me and put everything out about me on the nightly news if they wanted to. And this kid, we can't. The kid's dead.
Right.
Everything should be out there.
And supposedly all this information came out when they found out that he had all these accounts out there under a different name. But we still don't know anything.
Well, I got to say, though, somebody's leaking something.
Yeah.
Because you got to watch Tucker Carlson's expose on this.
Yeah.
It's maybe a half hour, 35 minutes. I don't know where Tucker's getting the info. And he might have said, and I don't remember, but it's getting out there whether there's another person that Tucker can't figure out who it is that is somehow connected to with all these social media things. Crooks is an extreme Trump supporter, and then he becomes an extreme Trump opponent almost overnight.
Yeah.
It's very strange. So but I thought we'd know everything by now. I thought I'd know his I thought I'd know everything of that. If he had a pet hamster, I thought I'd know it. Joe the plumber, I remember he asked Obama a question about taxes, and the media doxed him in no time. By the way, he's since passed away, unfortunately.
Yes, he did.
But they went after him, and he doesn't have a legal plumber's license anymore. And it's like, what? What? I mean, it was unbelievable how much they went after. All he did was ask Obama a question.
Yeah.
And Obama gave a stupid answer, and I think that was part of the media covering for him.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like, you could see if they want to find out, they'll find out.
Yeah.
So it was very asinine. And I just don't get Secret Service. Has this stuff been fixed? Who got fired in the Secret Service for these failures?
Yeah.
The idiot in charge, the lady in charge, the DEI pick, was allowed to resign, and then Biden just praised how great she was.
Yeah.
He might not know he said that. But it was just, God,
Well, and here's the thing, though. The glory days of conspiracy theory, when you had Alex Jones up there, and the Gulf of Tonkin, he had paperwork. He would show the actual documents, and he still does this, where he's got these cameras that come down on his desk. Now, I'm not saying everything he says is true. I'm not saying I'm not judging it based on any of its truth, but when you are able to show documents, when you're able to have proof, but today people ask questions. It's good to ask questions. I think we should. That's healthy to ask questions. Yeah. But when the questions are taken as the proof that something is true, it's where we kind of get off into weird territory. Now, I'm not saying that's what Tucker's doing, but there are others that are doing that.
Here's the other thing.
We have to have something to hold on to.
Yeah, there's some people who believe in a conspiracy and look for evidence of it.
Right.
And they don't want evidence of something else. I want the truth, whether the truth is boring, the truth is mundane, whether the truth is ho-hum, or whether the truth is horrible. This is my government acting in my name, and I control them. They don't control me.
Right.
So as far as I'm concerned, the man who tried to kill the president of the United States and is dead has no rights anymore.
Yes.
So I'm not interested in, if you can dox me under the Patriot Act, you can dox this kid who's dead.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can. He's not entitled to anything anymore.
No.
Okay, he was worth 2 cents, so nobody's suing his estate. Nobody's doing that. Here's another thing. His parents why aren't they being interviewed? Why aren't the FBI questioning them?
Yeah, from what I hear, they weren't very helpful.
No, I've heard that too, and they're like in seclusion.
Yeah.
They won't speak. They should be subpoenaed in front of Congress.
They should be.
That's what I would do. I would subpoena them. And, because here's the thing. There's a school shooting. How many people, blame the mom and dad. Oh, you didn't lock your gun.
Right.
Even though, whether that was the thing or you didn't notice your kid's quote-unquote mental illness. First thing we do is go right to the parent.
Right.
So, the kid was living there. I don't know what he was doing, sitting around watching Growing Pains reruns. I don't know what he was doing every day, but it was, I'm so taken aback by how we still know nothing.
Right.
And I just can't accept that. I really can't. And maybe the truth is boring and mundane, but if it is, then there's all the more reason to put it out there.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. I haven't gone neck deep in the Charlie Kirk stuff yet. Although I did listen to Steve Bannon the other day, And Bannon did a good job of asking questions without going too far off the deep end, I thought.
Yeah.
He's pretty interesting to listen to. I think he gives a good analysis sometimes.
Yeah, I don't agree with him on everything, but...
Agree there.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I want one other thing, too.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe the government's official account of Oklahoma City.
Really?
No, I don't.
You don't think McVeigh was...
I didn't say that.
Okay.
There is footage. This was mentioned at McVeigh's trial.
Yeah.
Under oath, that there is footage of McVeigh and another person with him that day.
Not Terry McNichols?
Terry Nichols was not in Oklahoma City the day of the bombing. Remember, Nichols was convicted of aiding after the fact and planning, but he was not there in Oklahoma City. This person at one time was the most wanted person in the world. $2 million bounty in 1995 was put on them. Then the FBI changed their story and said that guy doesn't exist. Now, what could solve that? Releasing the footage that they have somewhere of McVeigh getting out of his rental, whatever it was. I'd like some information on who actually paid for the rental. Timothy McVeigh earned no income for 3 years, hanging around gun shows and ex-military people. Where he got the money to build bomb, or where he got the knowledge. Nichols was tremendously in debt, tried to renounce his U.S. citizenship. These two idiots didn't do this by themselves. But I want to know. I want to see that footage. So I call on them to release that footage. You tell me that's national security that they can't. BS. You know what it is? I think I know who it is, but I have a guess. It's part of this group of could be anyway part of this group of bank robbers and people like that Nichols or McVeigh was kind of mixed up with. Can't remember what they were called. It was probably one of them, but there's a conspirator out there that's got away with this, and I want to know who it was. So I call on that. I'm not saying McVeigh's not guilty. I'm saying, because I think there's a tremendous amount of evidence against him, but McVeigh was one of who knows how many who really were.
Yeah. Well, and
there's evidence that McVeigh, I don't want to say it was a government asset, but I think there's evidence that, like I said, how did he earn a living for 3 years without a job? How did he travel to Waco? I mean, there's so many unanswered questions about that.
But with all of this stuff, it's like that. I mean, the J6 pipe bomber, all of those cameras that just happened to shut off at the right time, or they were pointed in the wrong direction, and then in January 6th, all the footage in the Capitol, like all the stuff that exonerated people happened to just go missing.
Okay, can I go way Alex Jones here?
Yeah.
9/11.
Yeah.
The Pentagon, the most protected building on the face of the earth.
Yes.
No camera footage of a plane hitting that.
Yeah.
Plane not shot down after 3 planes were already crashed at that point.
Yeah.
And yet a plane somehow hit the Pentagon.
Yeah.
Do you buy that? Now, I'm not saying a plane didn't exist. I just don't understand how it was allowed how there's no footage of it.
Right. And I've seen the footage from like the guard station or whatever where you see the explosion.
Yeah, it looks like a bomb went off. It doesn't look like a plane hit anything.
I don't know.
I'm not saying a plane didn't. I'm saying, why don't you what is the possible reason? There's people who died that day. What is the possible reason that you can't show footage? There's footage everywhere of the planes hitting the Twin Towers.
Right.
Nobody's holding that back for national security.
Yeah, and I'll admit I have a blind spot on this because, and maybe it's just that I'm not willing to admit that our government would participate in something like that for a false flag attack on our own country in that kind of dramatic fashion.
See, I don't know that the government did that. I think the government it's kind of my view of Pearl Harbor. I've gotten neck deep in Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
Do I think President Roosevelt knew about it and let it happen? No, I don't think the evidence exists for that. Do I think I think Roosevelt is guilty of escalating tensions with Japan, of not preparing, withholding information from some of those areas, of taking the general and the admiral there, Kimmel, and I can't remember the army person, and they hung them out to dry. Did he want to enter the war and needed a pretext to do it? Mm-hmm. I think Roosevelt's guilty of all that. Is there evidence, though? I think he took advantage of what happened to go to the war he wanted. Right. But I can't go that far to say that he sat back and just didn't care that 3,000 Americans got killed. I don't think there's evidence of that.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing with 9/11. I can't buy, though. Here's what I can't buy about 9/11. I can't buy the whole incompetence argument. I can't buy, it's just one of those things. Yeah. We had, because 9/11 happens, okay, and by 4:30 at night, they know the name of every hijacker. They've got their picture. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, if you had all that, these people weren't on anybody's radar. They weren't on. Nope. Nobody was watching them. I'm off $200 of my income taxes, and somebody's watching me. You're telling me that these people went to flight school and were learning how to take off and not learning how to land. You're telling me that these people overstayed their visa. It was just one of those things. We just missed it.
Yeah.
I just either, and again, if that's true, who was fired for it?
Right.
Nobody. Who was let go? What changes were made? No, the CIA got more money. Mm-hmm. The government got more power. The opposite of what you think should have happened.
Right.
So, and again, what does that lead yourself into? Boom, your mind wanders.
Right.
Like, whoa, what could have happened there? But I always say this: the same people who think George W. Bush is a complete idiot are the same people who think he masterminded a terrorist attack.
Right.
I can't go that far with it. I just think Bush seized on this.
Yeah. The Patriot Act was ready to go.
Patriot Act
sitting in a drawer somewhere.
Yeah. And he seized on it to do what he wanted.
Yeah. They call that problem, reaction, solution. It's like you somehow
corporate term there.
Either you create the problem or you allow a problem to have it happen that you already have a solution for. Right?
You war game it. War game it.
It's like with COVID. Look at all of the conspiracy theories that came out of COVID.
Yeah.
Like, we manufactured this in a lab on purpose as a bioweapon so that we could put the jab into effect.
Yeah.
No, I don't believe that.
I don't believe that, but I believe that I believe I
believe that the drive for power and money in bio research and gain of function research allowed for sloppy things to happen. And they war gamed ahead of time, like a year ahead of time. What if there was a COVID outbreak? What would we do? So they planned ahead of time for a pandemic, and that looks pretty sketchy, but
I've said this before, though. The United States has a battle plan to invade Canada somewhere.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we're going to start the war.
Right.
It just means we've planned for it.
Right.
We know where to hit. We know where the military bases are. Doesn't mean we're going to do it.
Right.
However, I will say this with COVID. I believe that the evidence exists that COVID broke out in the summer of 2019. They're still lying about when it started. The first super spreader event, as we would call it, happened that fall. It was in the U.S. in the fall of 19. We just weren't looking for it. So I still think they haven't told the truth on that. And then they changed the definition of gain of function research. You go back to 2000, Obama's second term, Washington Post, which has now taken this down, had this whole expose on how they reversed the ban on gain of function research, and then they took it down. Fauci's pictures all over it, and then Rand Paul questioned him very harshly about it.
Yeah.
And Fauci tried to change the definition of what gain of... I mean, here's my question. To create a virus, you're creating a virus that doesn't exist. That by itself is... How I guess my question is, why would anybody think that that's a good idea?
Yeah.
So we're going to see how a virus works, but we don't have that virus. We're going to make it.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. That's out of control. That's
You know what it is?
Yeah.
And this is what I hate about science, and this is going to sound bad. It's what I hate about doctors. It's the greatest line ever in a movie by Jeff Goldblum. I'll get to it in a second. This is where the absence of God and the idea that you can play God here on Earth is really, really scary.
Yes.
Like the great line from Jurassic Park, Jeff Goldblum's line. Your scientists are so worried if they could, they're not worried about whether they should. And that's the thing about science. That's the thing about cloning, AI. No one stops and goes, should we do this?
Right.
It's all, can we?
Yep.
And no one's, because there's no, I guarantee you, these people have no basis in faith. They have no basis in that. It's all just about getting the next thing, getting their funding, getting their name on a science award or something. I don't know how creating a virus and then trying to figure out how to beat the virus you created advances any science whatsoever.
Right.
Insane.
Yeah.
Just insane.
So you've got these kinds of things that happen, and then you have a government that just either doesn't go after things or they hide things. And then we come up with what we think happened, which is natural, ask questions, follow the information wherever it leads. Yeah.
And then you're called a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
You outlandish conspiracy theorist. Like, well, wait a minute. Why am I outlandish?
Mm-hmm.
To me, and this is the other thing. One of the things I hate too is when somebody says to me, well, if I'll go way out there here, and I'm going to get way out there. I have stated publicly that I have my doubts that we ever landed on the moon.
Yeah.
And I hope we did. If we did, it was a great thing. And I hope we did, but I have my doubts to whether we did or not. Now, I know that just people want to fry me for saying that. And I've said it publicly for a long time that I just have there's so many things about it that don't make sense. I've never really pursued it. I've never gone, I've never gone Bart Zabrell on it, but I definitely have questions about it. And the first thing that I get from people when I say that, I get one of two things. That outlandish. I get that demeaning response, or I get the response that I have to answer the question of, well, what happened then to how many people were involved in it, and were they all in on it, and who got paid off? And it'd be like, okay, you know what? My answer to that is it's not my job to answer that. It's not my job to answer how a guy working in NASA, does the bank teller know as much as the bank manager? I mean, it's not, I don't feel like that's my job to go explain it. I feel like it's the job, you're claiming you went to the moon. It's your job to prove you went, not my job to prove you didn't.
Right.
So just, if you can't answer, a basic question of like how you survived, how the moon was 250 degrees below zero, and you had a pack that was of AA batteries, and that somehow, you somehow survived that. Okay, well, it's your job to explain that to me. It's your job to explain how my iPhone had more technology than you had. Okay.
Yeah.
Your job to explain to me, NASA, why you can't travel 1,000 miles in space today. It's not my job to tell you why you can. Now, maybe there's an answer. But instead of calling me a conspiracy theorist, why don't you go answer the question? Yeah. That would get rid of every conspiracy there is.
Right.
Of course, they don't. So it just, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. God, I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I really do. Because I hate being thought of as a whack job. But it just, I come back to, it's just like, you know what it's made me do too, Jay? It's made me question everything.
Yeah.
I used to think Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. I don't think there's any chance he acted alone. I do not believe James Earl Ray killed Martin Luther King. I do not. I don't believe that one iota. In fact, I would argue there's no evidence against Ray. Other than his own confession and Alford plea, which I think was BS from the beginning, which he tried to recant. I can't even go into what I don't even want to go into everything. I really don't. It's just, it's too crazy to think that. And you know what? In fact, it's so bad with me, Jay, that when I hear a lone gun, I don't believe it. Second I hear there's a lone gunman, I ain't falling for that again.
Yeah.
Not getting me with that. Not getting me with that Sirhan. Not getting me with that. I don't buy it. I just reject it out of hand.
Yeah. When
you know what? Sometimes there is a whack job who does something.
Yeah.
And it does happen.
It does.
So it's like, but I don't believe it anymore. It's become that terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know. You think we'll ever get to the bottom of some of those cases?
I don't know. I mean,
or do people just believe what they want now?
Well, there's a lot of that too, where it's like.
But I mean, like JFK, how could you possibly come up with anything definitive anymore?
Yeah.
Evidence is gone. Witnesses are dead.
Yeah. But I mean, with a lot of things, and you're right, it's not about the truth, it's about my truth, which isn't truth at all. There's really only one truth, and it's the facts.
No such thing as your truth and my truth.
Right. But that's what people are taught. And so it doesn't really matter what the facts are. It's how you feel about it that matters. And so would it matter? Who knows?
I don't know.
The facts are that you were born either a man or a woman or a boy or a girl.
Right.
And, your chromosomes.
Yeah, they don't change no matter what.
They don't change, and you can't change them. All your life, you can't change them. And you can't change how that supposedly negates all of the truth.
Yeah, you're born in God's image.
Yeah.
And that's, again, I feel that's where lack of faith, again. I guarantee you anybody who's trans is not going to church every Sunday. No way.
Well, they might.
They could be going to one of those churches.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess that's true.
Yes.
The churches that don't actually preach the gospel that they preach.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me move on before I get out there even more and talk about whether a plane hit the Pentagon. I don't want to go there again. I got to talk economy a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to share some macro number. The way we used to judge the economy most of my adult life has been with growth, unemployment.
Yep. GDP.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to calculate that. The numbers that we have right now in these last 4 to 6 months have been some of the best numbers that I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
The stock market's at an all-time high. 3.8% growth in the second quarter of this year. I don't know what it is in the third. I think the government shut down. I think they're still a little behind.
Yeah.
Trump's probably fired half of them anyway, like he did before. You've got 4.2% unemployment, which is better than it was in the 90s. That 4.5% was the greatest economy we supposedly ever had.
Right.
Yet the jobs numbers have been iffy. September was a good month.
Yeah.
I haven't seen October numbers. I don't think they've come out. I think they're still behind. And people aren't feeling it, or they don't feel like they're feeling it. You can you can still feel that angst.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is, and we've had record investment in this country. I mean, President Trump's at the White House with people who are building factories, there's been a lot of things going on. We're drilling for oil more than we ever have. That's gone down. That's one price that's gone. Not as much as I hoped.
Yeah, I hoped it would be more. Eggs have gone down a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they've definitely gone down. But what is it about why has the jobs numbers lagged? What do you think's going on with that? Are we headed toward a really good 26? Are the job numbers just behind? Jobs are a lagging thing a lot, maybe 6 to 12 months behind sometimes. What's your sense of where the economy is?
Oh, it's again complicated. Yeah, you have some very good indicators, the stock market and all of that, the investment. But here's the thing. I think the stock market has been artificially inflated for now a couple of decades.
Ever since the 90s, I think.
Yeah. So really, for probably, 25 to 30 years, it's been artificially inflated. How long can you do that before the bottom falls out from it? I don't know.
Well, now that's complicated too. Yeah. Because you've got the NASDAQ, you've got the S&P, and you've got it depends on a couple things. I think some are artificially inflated because they know they have the government's backing.
Yes.
General Motors knows they'll get bailed out if they're too big to fail. You have kind of a full faith and credit with some of these places. Some of these places are so global that even a slowdown will not bring their stock price down to what you think. Some companies do a lot to artificially inflate their own stock.
Right.
Or some of them have split the stock and make it, to keep it a certain price. There's a lot of ways to manipulate that. I think the big thing is the dollar. I still think that is a critical thing to watch because although it's gotten better under President Trump, look at the metals, look at the alternatives to the dollar.
Right.
They are still high.
Yeah.
And again, that goes back to the deficits, the interest rates, which devalue the dollar.
Yeah.
That's way out of balance still. It's better, but it's, if you look where it was 25 years ago, it's totally out of whack from that.
Right. And the damage that Joe Biden did to the economy with inflation still is hurting. And unfortunately, we rarely encounter deflation in a lot of products. The rate of inflation has slowed, and that's really good. But because of what happened during the Biden administration, because of you have this way out of control inflation, people are still paying too much for meat, for homes, for cars.
See, that's what makes this time different, though.
Yes. I think that's a lot of the angst around the economy.
Yeah, this is not an economic. People have a job. They have a place to live. But when they pay for their rent, their health insurance, their grocery bill, their gas, they are left with so little.
Right.
That it never feels like they're getting ahead.
Mm-hmm.
It's an affordability crisis.
Yes.
Now, here comes the question, though. And this is a question, boy, I'll tell you, Republicans are better. I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking about a lot of the other ones, because a lot of the other, I listened to Mike Johnson give it, he sounded like Biden. He was basically, what are you talking about inflation? What are you talking about high prices? No, inflation's down. It doesn't exist. It's like, oh, that's like hearing it's transitory.
Yeah.
You're telling people that who feel a certain way, they don't feel it.
Yeah.
And it's like, ugh. But it becomes complicated in a way that I don't know how you... The federal government can't do this by themselves. This is the problem.
Yeah.
You get your county raising your property taxes 10%. You get your state putting regulations on your energy bill. And I mean, none of that has anything to do with the federal government. Yet the federal government gets blamed for it a lot of times.
Right.
So it's like, how do you make things, quote, more affordable? You talk about deflation. Why don't we have deflation? We used to. Mm-hmm. There's reasons we don't now.
Right.
Because we pump money into the marketplace, we print it, we deficit spend it. We do the opposite of what would everything we do causes inflation.
Yes.
Everything we do devalues the dollar now.
Yeah.
But you go back to, I don't really want to go back to the 1890s here or something, but pre-Fed,
yeah,
you didn't have steady inflation for a long period of time. You never had that.
Right.
You had ups and downs.
Yeah, lots of them.
Yeah, I mean, but you had times where you go back to Jackson's day. Jackson wanted to get rid of all paper money.
Right.
He wanted, and banks used to back their paper money with gold and silver. They used to back the money.
Yes.
It's hard to explain, and even I can't articulate very well. But their money used to be not created out of thin air.
Right.
The old-fashioned greenbacks were backed by specie, as they used to call them. Now they're backed by nothing.
Right. If you had a greenback, there was $1 worth of gold somewhere backing that.
Go back to the Civil War. They had greenback dollars and gold dollars.
Yeah.
You had it in Grant's time as well, because they kept the greenbacks in circulation for a while.
Yeah.
You could turn them in for gold dollars.
Yeah.
So you don't, and again, now where you make money out of thin air, how do you ever have deflation? How do you ever lower the? I mean, you can level it off. That's true. You can make it to where there's not much.
Yeah.
But you'll never have a deflationary period the way we keep doing things. So how do you lower prices? I mean, how do they go down? How do you magically turn on something to lower prices?
Uh-huh.
And unfortunately, I think for President Trump, while this is Biden administration's fault, it's now his responsibility.
Right. He's got to take responsibility for the solution.
Right. It's kind of like, you were the coach of a bad team. And
right.
At some point, it's your responsibility to make it good. And I do think that the middle-class tax cuts next year are going to help a lot. But I have warmed up to this idea. And boy, this is something that, God, I rarely support. But I think it's necessary. Of the $2,000 payments of the tariff rebates.
Really?
I'm coming around to supporting this idea. And let me tell you why. And I'm going to totally contradict every economics lesson that I ever learned. Okay? So stick with me on this.
Okay.
I do have an issue about it, though, because I want to make sure I don't want it to go. This should go to heads of households.
Yeah.
Not to everybody.
Right.
Not to the Gen Zer sitting on their mom's couch. They're not paying the bills. They're not paying the inflation. So I have a little issue with that. Typically, I don't like this. I don't like one-time money. I think that permanent cuts in taxes are the smarter thing to do. That if the tariffs are going to stay, then let's lower taxes somewhere else so the government never has the money in the first place. Now, that's what I'd prefer. Now, you and I both know the odds of getting that through Congress anytime soon are nil.
Right.
And Trump has floated probably 50 ideas on what to do with this. We got $37 billion in revenue from tariffs in October.
Wow.
$37 billion. And I'm telling you, Trump has floated at least 20. Stephen Moore and Larry Kudlow went over them on Fox Business. And they have their own ideas, and they're a little more globalist than I like. But they're smart guys when it comes to economic stuff. Know way more than I do. But this is why I've come around to it. The idea that, well, you're going to get a tax cut in 2 years, or people are just, they see Wall Street making money, they see companies making money, and they're left out in the cold. You got to do something.
Yes. To
get the middle class moving again. And I keep asking this, where is all this money going? Not just the tariff money, but if companies are making money hand over fist, who's getting it? We talk about food prices. The farmers aren't making a ton more money.
No.
The grocery stores aren't making a ton more money. Who's getting the money?
Yeah, I mean it's being swallowed up a lot between. You've got all of these public-private partnerships, and
you got some of those. Yeah.
Government is keeping some of the money. You've got big corporations which are keeping some of the money.
Corporate farming,
yeah, especially in farming. You've got 5 companies that process meat, or is it less than that? And that's it.
I think 5 control like 90% of the market. It's just a big oligopoly.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
And so when you don't have that competition, you're not incentivized to lower prices.
I think the thing with the $2,000 or whatever it ends up being, I think the reason that I want it is the middle class has got to share in this.
Yeah.
And they have to share in it now. It's got to be now. I mean, just think, what I'd like to do is couple it with tax reform. I know that's not going to happen. And if we're going to, again, if the tariffs are going to be there, you use a part of it to pay the debt down and a part of it shoot it back to the American people.
Yeah.
And I think I've just come around to this idea that if you can make things more affordable and give people some relief. I know that the lower gas prices have helped. I know the cheaper drug prices.
Yeah.
Republicans should have been supporting this 20 years ago.
Yeah.
This idea that you can't negotiate for cheaper drug prices is insane.
It is insane. Why can't you shop for health insurance across state lines? There's no reason for it.
It makes 0 sense. I can buy car insurance. See, but this is the problem with health insurance is you aren't shopping. You're taking whatever benefits are given to you.
Yep, absolutely.
That's the problem, is the third-party control over it. Then the third party can't go across state lines. They have to take whatever's given to them.
Right.
But you've made the rules so that they really don't have choice. It's lowering prices is so much. The American people need relief, though. They got to have it. They suffered under Biden. Biden did nothing for 4 years. We've got to get the money into the hands of the people who are going to use that for their own relief. We got to have it. And I really think that combined with the tax cuts that go into effect next year for your 2025 taxes are really going to be a big, big boom. And here's the other thing. Here's one of my questions. I want to go back to the jobs for a second.
Okay.
I know we're skipping around here. Do you think, here's what I think. I think one of the reasons the jobs numbers have been soft, I think they're counting deported illegal aliens as job losses.
You know what? I bet they are. I would like to see proof that they're not.
I think it's true. I think that might have been part of what's behind the shakeup at the Labor Department that Trump did over the summer. I think they're saying, okay, somebody was cleaning toilets, they're now deported, boom, that's a job loss.
Right.
And we've had 2.5 million people that have been deported, arrested, self-deported, left. 2.5 million since January.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good start.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not done.
It better not be.
But that's a lot of people. You got to watch that, though. There's an amnesty movement going on.
Oh, yeah.
Even among Republicans, there's an amnesty movement going on.
Right.
Actually, the late Charlie Kirk is the one who got me curious into that. I don't know how he had an end to it or what, but he knew it was coming. And Trump said no amnesty, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I fear states giving amnesty. Or de facto amnesty, but there's definitely a movement coming for that. But I just wonder if they're being counted as job losses.
Well, it would make sense that they would try that. You know, they've messed with the job numbers before, and we saw that during the end of Biden's time where they posted these great job numbers, and then it came out afterwards, oh, that was wrong.
Oh,
it was actually only this much.
I think it was over 1 million jobs in 2024. How are you off by that much?
Right.
Seriously.
Right. But again, why we can't trust the government.
Exactly. It just breeds its own distrust.
Yep.
But yeah, I just wonder, the jobs numbers have got to, but here's the thing. When you're at 4.2% unemployment, you're not going to create 300,000 jobs a month.
Right.
I just think it's, I don't know.
At some point, you reach like a critical mass of people that want to work.
Yeah. Well, and how we count unemployment, I've always thought is a little,
a
little chicanery in that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never quite trusted the non-farm payroll number. I mean, it's just, I hate to quote Joe Biden, but a downturn is when what did he say? He was still conscious then.
Yeah.
A recession is when you're out of work. Slowdown's when your neighbor's out of work or something like that. It's like, it when it's you.
Yeah. Right.
But, interest rates haven't come down like I'd hoped. I mean, you're going to have a new Fed chairman in a couple of months. I think Powell's term is gone in March or something like that, March or April. And Trump is just anxious as hell to get him out of there.
Oh, I know.
So, I mean, I think you're definitely going to see some change. But, I mean, lowering interest rates 1/4 point doesn't really, I don't know, that doesn't really move the needle much. So, I don't. But the economic numbers to me are weird.
Yeah.
It's weird to see such growth. How do you have such growth and not huge jobs numbers? How do you have a booming investor class without, I don't get where all the money's going. Is AI sticking into some of this?
Maybe, although we're receiving so much from other nations in investment into AI, but you look at the amount of energy it's going to take to run AI, and we're way behind. And so it's really expensive.
AI could be a net. It could be a weird net there because you got to do everything to run it, yet you're taking, it can help one industry and hurt another, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
But here's the thing. I want to know one thing about AI. I understand how it benefits business. I understand how it benefits government.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't understand is how it benefits the middle class.
Right.
And that's what I'd love to have somebody answer. And if we really went to the moon or not. Okay, can you just answer those things?
Yeah, well, you never know.
One of these days we'll get an answer. I don't know.
We just might.
I don't know, T. I don't know if we'll ever get one or not.
Yeah. I guess we'll know, like, if we actually go to the moon and it matches what we saw back in '69.
Let me backtrack here. I think that it's way easier nowadays to send a robot or a prototype.
Yeah.
I think it's not necessary to send human beings.
Right.
But I think that could be part of why we've never gone back. I mean, I think there are practical reasons, and I think there are reasons that make no sense.
Although it sounds like they want to use the moon to build a refueling station to get to Mars. So
I've been hearing that since, I don't know.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see. Elon Musk seems to think it's a worthy idea, so it'll probably at least be attempted.
Yeah, you know what? Then he can pay for it. I have no interest in going to Mars. It's just not something.
No.
Although it's possible we could fight a war in space someday.
Yeah,
I mean it's
possible.
Well, I mean that was what the space race to me was all about: is military superiority over the Soviets. I mean, remember the Soviets were the first ones in space. The first one, Yuri Gagarin, and I mean they were way ahead of us for a while.
Yeah. Sputnik.
Yeah, but remember their rocket was sideways.
Yep.
Not straight up. Interesting. Yeah. I don't know why. Of course, we all stole the German scientists who were way ahead of everybody.
Right.
Werner von Braun, who ran NASA, was, in my opinion, a war criminal. But whatever, I understand. But
there's a whole story there that
Arthur
he had
Rudolph, I mean, I don't even want to get into it. But I always say this: German engineering. Have you ever seen the engine on a BMW?
Not particularly, but Mercedes.
Okay, they make your Dodge Daytona look like a hunk. It's just, it still is exceptional, despite the fact Germany's really gone downhill.
Yeah.
All right, I'm getting sleepy, Jay, so it's that time again. Styling, profiling. Well, we haven't said this for a while. Styling, profiling, jet flying, limousine riding, wheeling, dealing, son of a gun. Sign us off, J-Man.
Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, it's been a while since we've been with you. It's that time of year, though. You got turkey, you got Christmas, you got all sorts of things. It's been a lot going on, and we see it in the news every day, and we see it unfold in our daily lives. Me, for instance, we didn't cover this, was recently elected as lead pastor of the church where I've been.
Yeah.
So I've got that new challenge ahead of me as well. So any of you that might happen to be looking for a Bible-believing church that isn't going to bow to the woke crowd, that isn't going to, that is going to preach the truth, that is going to tell men they're not worthless. They were created for a reason with certain traits, shall we say, that are immutable, no matter how hard you try to hide them. And that communism is bad. All of these truths that we have known for a long time. Maybe you want to check out Park Harbor Church. That's parkharbor.org. We've got to come together. We've got to find organizations that can work together. We've got to find ways that we can all do what we're supposed to do, because we each have a piece in this fight. We can't lay back and be lazy or we're at a point in our history where once again we have got to learn to sacrifice at least just a little bit. All the comforts that we've acquired, all of the indulgences that we have as Americans, it is because we've trusted in those things. It's because we have just tried to hoard these things that we have become disconnected from what's really going on. But then you have an underclass of people that so want to change things because they have been indoctrinated that communism or socialism is the right way to go, that the class that have seen any success at all, they're oppressors and everybody else is oppressed and they need to rise up. These are the things, critical thinking. We don't know how to do that anymore. Instead, we've employed critical race theory in place of critical thinking, and it doesn't teach you to critical think, it teaches you what to think. And so we go through our schools, we go through in the businesses that we work in, we go through some of you in the churches you attend, the entertainment you watch, the social media you consume. It tells you what to think in a bad way. No, instead, we need to come together because we have a reason for pushing forward with a certain set of morals, for living them out day to day, for speaking about them publicly, because the other side, they're constant and they won't back down. You're not going to see CNN change its stripes. You're not going to see Ariana Grande come and all of a sudden start talking about the blessings of capitalism and of God's provision for you. You see, we have to be the ones to do that. We have to use the platforms we have, the circles of influence that we're a part of. And to do that, we have to sometimes sacrifice. It comes at a cost. And for a long time, we've been living without having to pay that cost. And so the cost is a lot steeper today than it was just 25 years ago. So what do we do? How do we face these things? How do we come into agreement and walk in unity? That is a very, very complicated question, but it just starts with waking up every day and refusing to be silent, refusing to sit down, refusing to take the lazy way out. So there's many, many things that we can do. There's something that you are called to do. Get in a good church. You want to go to Park Harbor, that's great. You want to go somewhere else? As long as it's a good church, that will give you the moral foundation that you need. But then you have to pursue, why were you created? Ephesians 2:10 says that you are God's masterpiece, and when good works were created for you from long ago that you might walk in them. There's work for you to do. There is work for you to be a part of that only you can do. Don't make somebody else who wasn't made for that try to do it, because it doesn't fit as well. It doesn't work the way it's supposed to. So if you're supposed to run for office, you need to step up and run for office. If you're supposed to create a podcast, write a movie, write songs, start a business, get promoted within a certain business so that you can affect good in the area in which you live, with your neighbors, your family, your friends, your coworkers, your community, then that's what you need to do. And you can't run from it anymore. You want help getting there? Get a hold of us, COMMsolutionsMN@gmail.com. That's COMMsolutionsMN@gmail.com. And you know what? We are already in this fight. We're looking at 2026. We are already speaking to people, getting people on board. We're getting ducks lined up so that there are people that step into government with a good campaign plan and able to beat the socks off of the competition. So if that's you, if that's something you want to do, get a hold of us. You can check out more at COMMsolutionsMN.com. That is COMMsolutionsMN.com. The new revamped website. It's got some great stuff up there. You'll love it, I promise. Or your money back. As far as this podcast goes. which is a wealth of information. Let me tell you, you're making out like a bandit. All right. That's it for this time. I'm sure we'll be back before Christmas, definitely before the end of the year. We love you, Minnesota. Now it's your turn to get to work. It's that spark that makes